dancey time in front of the green screen. So, greetings and welcome, Alex, back to the channel. Holy shit, it's been a while.
I'm here.
Apparently, you can monetize videos now on YouTube with saying stuff in the first 7 seconds. That's a new one.
There you go.
So
there you go.
That was kind of a, I don't know why that's late breaking news. Not like I'm gonna try every time, but it's funny now because apparently that's something that has waves over the internet. Even Linus Tech Tips and other people did some really interesting videos on that. So, how have you been? How have you been? What's been new with you?
I've been good. I've just been rolling through a lot of the stuff for. I started a new series, my Commoner A to Z series on my channel, so I've been enjoying that and getting those together. And I realized very unfortunately right before starting it that when it got around to our first Guardian, being Betsy, was also right around the same time in which Mastery Pack Guardian is coming out. And I was like, please let it just be common reprints and no crazy things. And lo and behold, they reprinted Thunderquake at a common, and a bunch of other things got derarization or however
downshifted.
Into downshifted. I don't know why I couldn't think of the word. Downshifted into common, and also notably about a lot of really cool new Guardian common cards also. So I was just like, all right, well, guess we're gonna hold off on the bees until we're ready for everything else, because I don't want to make a whole video that becomes obsolete the day it's released. So that's what I've been doing.
It's hard to stay relevant, and I hate to say that it's not that I have writer's block, but man, post Gen Con here, I think I had a little bit of case of the con crud. I think that's something I came down with because you're around 70. It was a record-breaking year. The numbers are officially out. 72,000 people were what they claimed turnstile.
Wow.
So that's unique attendees. That means that over those 4 days, if I understand right, 72,000 unique people were there, ticketed at the sold-out Gen Con this year. So that's sold out twice now, 2 years in a row, and
wow.
It's wild. So if you're going to, future advice for anybody, if you're going to go to Gen Con, you need to buy your tickets in advance. When they go on pre-sale, if you have any inkling of going, buy them, because they will be selling out, it seems, as that is just the way of the stuff at the moment, which is kind of a sad reality. Now, I also know supposedly they're not transferable, so there's a whole world in and of itself where you have to make sure that you're going to make it if you're going to buy it. Don't buy it and just screw off and don't go. You're just wasting your money. But theoretically, there's a lot to digest there. But Gen Con, oh my gosh, I'm coming right off the high of Gen Con. There were so many games, so many things I got to do. I basically booked myself way too deep to do stuff. There's a lot. But before I dive into any of that, your A to Z series is kind of interesting. I'm kind of, I don't want to say working on something tangential to what you're doing, but I like your A to Z thing. It was kind of hilarious. I was shooting around. I got Matt, the other gentleman that you got to speak with. I finally, I guess, kicked him in his butt hard enough that he's really started that YouTube channel, or he's starting to do some more stuff with that. And
good.
I'm very happy that he's kind of taking his own reins. And I'm trying to remember, there was this. I love acronyms. I think, I don't know why, but my brain just gravitates toward ridiculous acronyms. And I came up with 2 acronyms that I wanted to share with you because they were just so stupid. I was like, this is ingenious in its own weird way. Where did I send this? It's kind of like the ape. And the reason my brain fixated on this is because every time I was playing the Mastery Pack Guardian, it was APUD. I had to keep constantly saying to myself, APUD, APUD, APUD.
Oh, yes, that's right. APUD, I remember. Yeah.
So tell me how cheesy this is. You can feel free to give me shit over this, because this is totally horrible. Welcome to the ABCs of Flesh and Blood, a new series about anything but competitive. We're here to dive into budget formats, commoner multiplayer, and jank builds. Join us on our journey as we strive to have fun in Flesh and Blood.
Oh, anything but competitive? What? That's actually genius, my dude. That's really, really funny. I remember the amount of times in which I'd make a series and you'd reach out to me and you're just like, dude, you're the smartest man in the world. You came up with this cool little thing and what? That's fun. That's fun. I like that.
And the second the tie into this is when we're gonna play in person and we're gonna physically play the games. This is the one that knocked me off my socks. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how I came up with this one. I was just on a fucking another mental level. On another episode of OMG, which is Off Meta Games, where we stick the heroes against each other and review the matching, aiming to find matchups that are not commonly covered, giving you better tools in your arsenal in case you want to have some actual jank fun.
That's not terrible. What the hell? Off Meta Games? OMG, that's so cool.
I don't know.
Those are cool.
I was also inspired by, I think you had A to Z. I know Dice Commando has BFF. It's just like, I don't know. I was just like, I had to have an acronym. Like, I was just like chewing at the bit for something. I was like, this is so funny. I don't know.
I mean, that's pretty funny. I think, and honestly, that's the best part about all of it is like, it doesn't, like, being catchy is cool, but it's, as long as you're making content, it's all fine. So.
Well, and that's where I'm at right now. Is I filmed a couple things at Gen Con. I actually got to do some interviews. So sneak preview, we got a second follow-up interview with Alex from Flesh and Blood or LSS. It's funny because I keep referring to Alex at Flesh and Blood, which is really at Legend Story Studios. But it's funny because like the name to me is so synonymous because I guess I'm that invested in the game as far as like just being in the community. But like I keep forgetting that the name is the other thing. It's just kind of like another game I'll talk about in a little bit. It's called Alpha Clash. It's their company is a different name. Rising Empire Studios, but their game is Alpha Clash, and it's just like Sorcery is Eric's Curiosa, but it's like Sorcery the TCG. Sometimes the names are just like synonymous with each other, and I don't know. So, anyways, with all that said, man, I kind of wanted to cover a little bit of what went down at Gen Con, if you're open for that, because this was kind of my decompress thing, and talk about some stuff, because there's some good, there's some weird, there's some wow, and there's a lot going on, and I didn't even get to all of it. Like, I spent 4 days almost nonstop getting less than 5 to 6 hours of sleep each night, and I still feel like I covered 1% of what I wanted to do. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, that's honestly something I'm always looking forward to, is the wrap up of the con and how everything went, and with me not being able to have been there, I want to know from the perspective of somebody who was very busy while being there how everything was, especially obviously with the convention exclusives and all the different, what the turnout was like. We had, that's what I'm saying.
Yours is behind me. It is gonna go out, by the way. I have that pretty much packed and ready to go.
Awesome.
But that is one of the items.
Prism and Vincent built specifically for it. So.
Yep, I wanna talk on that. So I guess let's maybe. I have the most to talk about with Flesh and Blood, because there is a lot of Flesh and Blood stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to see if I can magically make myself do the thing. Oh, look, you get to see behind the scenes because I did the wrong button. Oh, yeah. Let's go to here. I'm going to go down to my negative 0.25, I think, or fly. Do I want my fly cam? Fly cam on. Hey, look, I exist. I'm in the bottom corner. Look at me. Wee. I think I still am kind of here. All right, so we have in front of us a playmat. Now, there were a couple of playmats that they had for sale. I did not buy all of them. I clearly did not want to spend that kind of money. But I bought this one, which you might be familiar with, is the promo that they were giving away for purchasing a box. And that was the Batter to a Pulp promo.
Right.
Which was, you only got this when you purchased a Guardian Mastery Pack box. So
that's pretty cool. I mean, at least they did. I know that was a pretty contentious thing, because I know initially it was a promo that was specific for the Pro Tour or the Pro Quests, and then they were like, everybody was like, oh, it's got to be printed in Mastery Pack Guardian if that's coming out in these things, and then it turns out it was not. Turns out it is not a card that is printed in Mastery Pack Guardian, so everybody's like, oh, a promo-specific card that is for Guardian that is also hate against the most, like, polarizing hero in the format, being Gravy Bones right now. So I don't know how people feel about it, but it's at least nice to know that they're giving them out as box like promos.
I think just because I'm on the overhead here, I'm gonna at least talk a little bit about this specific thing. It heavily ties into this monstrosity of a heavy box. And I did participate, and by the way, I'm not saying monstrosity in a bad way, but the thing is physically effing heavy. Like, it is physically weighty. I was I mean,
there's two cloth playmats in that thing, right? Like,
hold on. Cloth, no. But I was still ridiculously impressed. And it's not cloth, but you know the thick board game like style stuff you buy like really exotic or fancier board games, they had that really nice folding board. That's what they managed to squeeze into this box. And and here's the thing, okay? When I signed up for this, I was kind of like, how are they going to do this, right? So the release event was you got a box, you physically got your own box, and on top of that, you opened a box and you played at the table. So you got to keep your own box. That's why I have a box sitting over there, because I have one sealed that I'm going to be using for my locals that we're going to try and play. I think next Wednesday. I've talked them into doing that. But I mean, you get these counters that are kind of behind me here.
That's crazy.
And these are the thick cardboard counters. They're like pretty stupid thick. You get life, you get attack, you get seismic surge, defend. Right, obviously very centric on. Working toward. I actually don't know what that symbol is. I was trying to figure that out. I think that's.
I think those are. I actually don't know what those are.
I was gonna say I don't recall off the top of my head. But either way, you get this nice sheet that has really thick, heavy weighted cardboard. So that's cool. The presentation is pretty slick, right? You get this, and I think the order might not be exactly the same. I've kind of rearranged this a little bit, but you get this beautiful kind of just, right out the gate, boom, Smash Palace, one rule thing. And you get kind of a welcome to Smash Palace, a real quick intro, right? Place etiquette, getting started, place rules of engagement or whatever. So like this is a pretty nice, starter, but you also get a little book that, kind of walks you through the how to play, what the cards are. It even has untap, right? Like this was definitely designed and or made around the same time that Gravy Bones and High Seas was, because untap obviously wasn't a thing prior. But they do talk about some stuff in here which is kind of interesting. They do cover arena, hand, arsenal, banishstone, graveyard, pitchstone, weapons, hero, card types, activations,
that whole page right there, that section with the buckling blow on it is huge. I mean, that right there, you could show that to just one individual and be like, here's all the different things your cards can do. And that's huge. Like, I think it's really, really awesome.
Absolutely. And what's interesting is, again, this set is really physical, right? There's not a lot, but they do actually talk about arcane damage. So there's a little bit of kind of like, I don't know why I know why they put it in there, but like it doesn't make sense because there's some arcane damage that was not in this set. But either way, I'm not mad at it. It's just there's a little bit of a gripe I have with this, but I'll get to that in a second. So here you go. Right. This is the back of the board. You got a beautiful LSS, logo, Smash Palace, and this thing is a monster. So like,
oh my god, I didn't even think it'd be like a cardboard. That's so sick.
I can't even do this justice to like show you how big this. Like, hold on. This is half of your playing board.
What?
Hold on. So that is is half. And there are two of these in this box.
Right.
Because it's a 4-player game.
That's crazy. That definitely is a lot of the weight. I thought it was like more of a cloth situation. Those are heavy.
I actually am pretty happy with that because it makes it feel more like a board game in a box, which is, again, the market I think is more apt to go after this. This right here, I could write a thesis on why this is game-changing for everything. Like, hands down, this alone is going to dramatically change the way I will forever play Flesh and Blood, because I do focus a lot more on this. And I will tell you, right from the get-go, the onset, I have it sitting over here onto the side. We can go over some of these. I don't know if you've seen a lot of these. There's some of them online. Mm-hmm. I think they've kind of all been spoiled at this point. But, like, this alone is not exclusive to Guardian Pack Mastery. It kind of works better with some of the Guardian cards, but really, you could play 4 generic Blitz decks with this. You could bring your own CC decks. We actually, at the meetup, we had a couple people that were playing. I had them, they were playing CC, and they were using this. So all these things were fantastic. I was going to say originally I would have had that footage, but there is a really weird thing that happened with the GoPro that I think it erased its card. So sadly, I don't believe I'm going to have the GoPro footage, even though I swear I recorded multiple things on that GoPro, but for some reason all of the footage on that is gone, including the game that was at the event where it was their version of Smash Palace with that. But inside of here, you get the 12 packs, right? So this is basically one of these inside of one of these, which is nice. But that is where I would say my only gripe with this goes. Nowhere in any of this does it talk about a way for you to re-leverage or refill or repack or regenerate without sleeving these up in different ones and knowing that that's it. So I don't know if that was a oops misstep or an accidental oversight, but there's not really, I would imagine
that's intentional, at least from my understanding, because the not that obviously this is some kind of like crazy capitalistic like situation, but like the fact of the matter is, like, you buy your Smash Palace set, right? You get all the event cards, the boards, and everything, but the game pieces that you utilize, being the crack, shuffle, and play aspect of the game, is available as, you know, think of them like expansion sets for board games, right? Correct. It's just, okay, cool. You already went through these things. The cards, you know, they're not going to give you, like, you know, reusable sleeves for you, or not sleeves, but like pack holders for you to put them back in and then try it again, because then it defeats the purpose of selling product. So,
well, it does.
You know,
so while I'm high on hype on this, there are 3 things that I would say I'm going to pick on this, and it's not to say that I don't like the product, but there are 3 things that would be really neat to have had. There is no life tracking counters or dice in this, which would have been an amazing home run if they would have included that. That would have put it to like a, you know, 1 step above where it is, which it's still a
you just need a D20, right? Yeah, none of the event heroes have more than 20 life, right?
Well, funny you say that. Hold on. The event heroes, you got Victor at 20, Groundbreaker at 20, Balfair at 20, Nox at 19, and Rhea at 21.
Oh, okay, well,
and
never
Bravo
mind.
at 20. So that's the only reason I kind of jokingly say it would be nice to have maybe a unique dice to this, which I'm actually currently working on with the wife because she does resin dice. I think we're going to try and design a 21-sided dice, just because I feel like actually, isn't there another hero that has 21 too, or is it 22?
Valda has 21.
Does Yoji have 22? No. Who was the other one that originally had?
No, Yoji does have 22. I'm sorry. Yoji does have 22 life.
So I thought about making it instead of 22-sided dice, because then at that point, I don't know. Anyways, it would be just neat to have a dice. Granted, I'm picking Pepper out of Fly Poop here, but that's just like the nth degree, like extra level of, ooh, that'd be really cool. But from the Guardian Pack Mastery, I will say that my box, when I opened my 2 packs, I got in my 3 packs, because that was all you played with. You basically literally took these 3, ripped them open, cracked, pulled the last 3 cards out, shuffled them together, and that's what you played with. In mine, I pulled 2 foil Majestics out of my 3 packs that I got in the Smash Palace box. And then I proceeded to purchase several of these. I think it was limit 3 a day. So I have, I think, a total of 6. I've already opened 3. I got 3 left, I believe. And then I have this. So I have, I've gone through quite a bit of this product. Whether we're playing or just trying to open some stuff to see what's out there.
Right.
Which, I don't know, have you opened? You haven't seen any, have you probably watched any of these openings yet?
I mean, it's not available for sale until tomorrow, I think. So I have not seen any yet. No, I haven't seen any of this opened yet. So
well, here I'm gonna go real low, because I wanted to showcase something that's interesting about these. So
well, hold on. Yep, are these the ones that are going back into your Smash Palace box that you're sharing with your locals?
So that's why I have these, because we're also
okay.
We talked
I just wanted to make sure you weren't cracking ones that you wanted to keep for something else.
And this became okay. So this is kind of this goes into the reason this is a problem. So I own all of this. This is all physically my product. And one of the conversations we had with the locals is it feels bad if I hand these packs over to somebody and then I'm like, hey, we're going to play, but at the end of the day, give these back. But then they hit a marble or they hit something freaking insane, right? They're going to give it back. So why we're waiting to do this next week is when the LGS hopefully gets these, right? There's some conversations around, like MinMax is saying they're not selling any of the boxes because they don't have enough. But hopefully our LGS will have some. And why that's important is we want the person that has their packs to be able to open their own packs and keep the contents. Because what happened was, even though so far I have opened a plethora of these, I say plethora being at least 3, maybe 4 total boxes, because I have a bunch of empty boxes back there I've kept. I have yet to hit a legendary. I've yet to hit a Marvel. So I have not personally hit either of those. Now, that said, I did work with a gentleman to purchase a particular item, which was the only one I saw.
Nice,
so
my God.
I did purchase that. And then this was another buy a box promo they had, this gesture of goodwill. What's really interesting about this is it's a generic block with a Guardian frame. That's what was really weird about that one, which I really liked. And then when you purchased, you got these like fault line promos where they have 3 cards on the inside. But we did not get access to the, what's that called? The 31 card, or the Trot Along or something. There was a couple cards that we did not get.
Trot Along, the Nip at the Heels.
Unrelated, I bought these from a judge because I really wanted some full art. They're non-foil, but they're still really cool.
Nice.
That was the only cold foil I hit so far, which is kind of neat.
Okay. At least it's a new card.
I got 2 perfect pecks out of the packs. One's a foil. Visit Anvilheim, Seismic Shelter, Clash of Bravado, 2 of the Test of Grips. I got a Volda regular.
Nice.
And then these were the 2 that came in my Smash Palace starter.
I mean, that's pretty good. Like,
this is
the Test of Iron Grips alone are probably going to be like some of the most sought after cards. So
for what this is at the moment, it was definitely wild. But yeah, I wanted to kind of show off how the Crack Shuffle play was, because this is basically what we did. So when we sat down at the table, you got handed your 3 packs. You just took the 3 cards out, and basically, in this case, because it's a non-foil, they said we could use it in our deck. Now, I opted to just not even look at the cards. Now, I'll just, for sake of argument, flip these over and show. But okay, look, we got a Majestic in this one. That's kind of neat. So this would be the first 10 cards. Now, you're going to end up with, oh, cool. So sometimes you'll get a token, sometimes you'll get a mini 4.
Yeah, they got our cards.
Yes. I have, at this point, successfully completed the full Volda. You'll notice that is what that is. And each pack will have a Volda that has a high riser on the backside. So by the 3 packs, you'll have your Volda and 2 of the weapons for that individual. Or if you're playing the UPF version, Smash Palace, you can choose from the heroes that are within that. So that's kind of a neat little trick. Now there's 2, so let's see, what do we get? We got a hardened cross trap, and oh, look at that, a foil seismic eruption. So that's a new one.
That's
I don't even have that. That's pretty good. Now,
seems like you're pulling some pretty good heat out of these things.
What I was told, though, is the foils are not eligible for the Crack Shuffle play. So this would not be a card I get to use in the Crack Shuffle play. But the rest of this would be. That is the way I believe we did it at the actual event, because we were told to pull the like last foils out.
I'd imagine the reason why they want to keep the 3 back cards out is strict. Ooh, that's kind of pretty.
Shoot.
What in the world?
Dude, it's foil.
That's cool.
Hey, I've not seen one of these. That's brand new.
Let's
hold on.
go.
Time out. That's crazy. So I was okay, this is my binder of like random. I was trying to do this, right, where I'm collecting all the different art. So I'm close on a lot of these. But when we get to where I was at here with Volda, so I've completed Volda, but I've only seen non-foils of these. You're telling me now there's a foil?
So you got a cold foil. You got a cold foil Mastery Pack thing.
What? That's cool. And it has a FAB back. That's interesting.
Sleeve that thing, dog. Sleeve that thing. What are you doing?
That's
Sleeve
wild.
that thing.
Because here's the normal one.
Right. Just the okay, yeah, I see. Just flipping it over to show the commons and rares. That's pretty
don't
cool.
get me wrong.
And the fact that it's a cold foil, it's not showing the back of it. It's just the fab back. Like that's pretty good.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Neat.
I'm not going to say no that it'd been cool to have a Jarl or a Volda, but that's still pretty freaking cool.
True.
I mean,
also, so I think the reason back to kind of like the why you take the 3 cards out, I'm sure there's obviously going to be some kind of like house rule thing, but I imagine the reason you take the back 3 cards out is so that way nobody's playing with equipment and everybody's playing with just the cards in the deck.
So in this case, I would have the hardened cross strap would be my chest. I'd have a free arms, and then I get the offhand. So I could make the choice of doing offhand and weapon with Volda, or I could technically not run that and run 2 of these. But I think it'd be kind of silly not to run, that. But this would be, and I'll just leave this as is. But this would be the entirety of one of the Crack Shuffle Play decks. And that would be that. So I guess since we're here, and I don't care. Do you care if I open more? I don't
care. This is my viewing pleasure right now.
This is kind of interesting. So there. This is the one I was looking for. So this is what I want to show you. This is the miniature 4 token kit.
I like that that's in there.
And then there's the helmet for this one. So in this case, you'll notice you get only 1 rare per. So it makes it a little bit harder to track down any particular rares that you're looking for with this. But again, for the whole concept of Crack Shuffle Play, it also keeps the... man, look at that. Leave a dent. It's foil too. Holy moly. Geez, OPs.
Another M.
That pack
Let's go.
That pack is...
That one you get to play.
Yeah, that one I can play. So that would be pack 2. And then this would be pack 3. Maybe it's because I'm opening on top of the mat that goes with the...
That is so interesting that they wouldn't have you... Oh, that's
so
pretty.
This is a foil.
That they wouldn't have you use the foils. That just doesn't make any sense to me, but I guess if that's somewhere in the rules, I'm sure.
I don't know where it's in the rules, though. That's the piece that was a little bit confusing to me. But in this scenario, right, it looks like this one has only a helmet.
You just have a headpiece and a shield.
And a shield, yeah. So,
and in this situation, you didn't even get... Oh, well, I guess the other side of High Rise is a Volda, right? So...
Yeah. And if I look, right, this one you did get 1 Majestic, which is the 3 Seismic Surge. So that's a pretty nice, pool. But yes, the other side of Volda, every single one is going to be...
Yeah. I was just like, I'm pretty sure, right? So.
Triple. All right, man. This is and because these come in a half box, right? Like you're only getting there's your full size seismic. So on the back, that's a puzzle piece, which is oddly the same puzzle piece, which is not a huge deal. Here's part of your
there you go.
Equipment, and then this would be again part of your deck. So different equipment choice. Let's see.
So it's funny because they have you take the back 3 cards out of the pack, but like you get to use all 3. So it's not like I don't know why there'd be a reason as to why they would take it out. Outside of the fact that if there was a foil, that they don't want you to use a foil for some reason. But
this should be the 3rd pack for this guy. Which the beauty behind keeping these together means that I can just easily showcase like, okay, so this would be Captain of the Guard. That's the first one of those I've got, but there you go. It's one of those Majestics that because it's generic, I personally want them because that'll help with other stuff. But yeah, that pool there means there's a Majestic, so that's kind of neat. This guy would have access to a chest, an arms, and an offhand. So that's kind of interesting. This is again
just a decent spread of equipment. It seems it's not like you got 3 chess pieces and you have to choose between them. It seems to be pretty good about having a nice spread.
Yeah, I'll put that with that one. So now I know those 3, and then this would be the last 3 from the box that I got at launch. So this would be Launch Palace. That was the other thing I was
Launch
Palace. All right, we got... this is cool. That's one of the fun ones. And then this one has Annexation of All Things Known. So that would be your card pool with that one. I guess we'll just keep those with it.
Yeah, so I had a blast knowing that... I was talking with a bunch of people in the Clash Discord on whether or not Volda was actually going to get a token rarity in here. And, like, yeah, it made sense that it did. But, like, is it really going to happen? And then I saw that it was in fact a token rarity, and I'm like, oh dang, okay, well now we have a 21 health hero in Commoner and in Project Blue, so we're
Crater
having
Hoof,
to work through that.
Yeah, Crater Hoof is also a pretty ridiculous card.
Yeah.
And we get one more. So let's see. Does this guy get a Majestic, or does he get to be the odd one out? Let's see.
That's got to be a Majestic in here, right?
I don't know. Well, we got two.
Maybe.
So let's see. Oop, nope.
Nope.
He gets to be the odd one out. That's okay.
Yep.
So that's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles with this. But yeah, there you go. You got everything's backwards because I didn't do it right. But yeah, that's an example of what a box is like, right? It's really really straightforward. And then those I could just sleeve up in 4 different sleeves, and then that would be my perpetual decks. If this was a sealed, tabletop game, that would be it. And then you would, in this case, also be able to facilitate, because you'll already have access to these, right? Then you could basically break out which heroes do you want to play. So you could have, technically you have 7 heroes, because Volda, right? Sorry, there's so much glare on this, I get it, but that would be where these would come into play. And one of the most disgusting heroes, by the way, is Balfair. Like, oh my gosh, this
is crazy.
This is just ridiculous. Another thing is obviously this, which is the intro deck, Bravo intro deck. I know Dice Commando already did kind of a thing on this. I'm working on trying to make a video where we're playing 2 of these against each other. So that's going to be something I'm going to be working with.
Nice.
So that's coming up. I'm going to stick all these to the side.
I thought that was a very interesting thing where they had him set up with no weapon, and instead of quite literally just putting no weapon in there, they just made High Riser.
It's a physical token that says no weapon.
Yeah.
It's
wild. Interesting.
This is weird. It's so cool. I mean, from me, right? It's really cool because I like this whole collectability piece of this. It's just weird that was.
I mean, they did that back in Rosetta too. Rosetta, you were able to get either the full one with all the card information on it, or
there's a cold foil one in Rosetta. I guess I don't have that one.
Yep.
I'll have to go see if I can find some from somebody.
There sure is. Then they changed it for the hunted. They made it the cold foil a promo, but still put the non-foil in the set. So.
Well, I'm gonna run through a couple other things. I'm not opening these. This is part of. I've always wanted to buy some certain things sealed, and they actually had these here. They had the Rosetta.
That's crazy.
And the
for real?
Yeah, so these were at Gen Con, and these were the Japanese versions of the boxes, which I thought I'd never really get access to. So when I saw these, I said, "Holy crap! Now I can keep I could try to do a little bit of a sealed collection for some of these little micro boxes, because this is
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I like these. I like these little micro boxes. These are cute.
It's really sweet. So these I'm gonna keep sealed. This one I'm gonna end up opening up, and then you can always open it, but you can't necessarily seal them. That's the joke. So the next thing we can talk about is this, which the presentation is phenomenal, for hands down, like absolutely a slam dunk. What's neat?
Oh, it's sleeves out.
Oh, it's like a book.
I've never seen it opened yet.
It gets better. It gets better.
Oh my god. Oh, they look so good. What in the? Oh my god! Are they in snap cases?
They already come in snap cases, by the way. So
oh
you can
my god!
You don't technically have to do anything, but yeah, you get the Phantasm. Or now these say Con 01, Con 02, Con 03, and Con 04. So that's what's going to be coming to you. You'll have yours is sitting over there. I did a couple more. Hank asked me to pick him up one, so I did him a solid, got him one, got you one.
Oh my god, that's so cool. Really just an insane presentation. Like,
yeah, and you know what the craziest thing about this is? It didn't even sell out. By the end of Sunday, they still had these available.
Really? Well, that's at least good. I mean,
awesome.
I don't entirely know whether or not, outside of enfranchised players and people specifically looking for these, who would really buy them. Because if you're not playing Illusionist or Runeblade and you don't really care about them, you're probably not buying that. But if you're a collector or you just like incredibly shiny things, like, not terrible.
So I got one of each of these.
Have they been foil all the time? The other ones aren't foil, right? These are foil boxes?
Actually, they are. If you put them under light, so like the Ira, it also has a little. Well, you know what?
I was like, no, I think those are like actually. No, well, maybe. No, maybe it's just.
I feel there's enough. I think there's enough foiling. It definitely, the lights are playing a little bit of a trick. But
where's your Jarl one? Let me see your Jarl one. You have your Jarl one over there?
Jarl.
Yeah, I mean that's foil.
It's
foil.
more subtle here. It's less subtle on this.
Yeah.
But,
okay. Well, that helps me.
Dang, that stinks. I have a ding in the front of it. Oh well. I mean,
no.
These are these are such a pain to try and pack away and try and keep decent because the shape is just ridiculous. This is a local bought this one and I was like, well, I want one for a shelf, so I ended up taping the top back together and
there you go.
a demo box. There were card sleeves. There was a Demonastery and Solana card sleeves. I did not personally buy them. I managed to get one individual sleeve from this one. I did not get the other one. So
damn, well they look kind of nice. I know the Demonastery ones are ones I thought about getting, but I was like, no. At
like $35 or $40. I mean, when you start really thinking about the extra stuff, it was like $35-$40 for the sleeve. It was just like, nah, I'm good. Like I'm not all. I don't need it.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the only time I'm paying that kind of money for a sleeve is if I'm gonna like triple sleeve it. And then I'm like, okay.
I got another playmat because I really like
Flick Flack mat.
Flick Flack. So as a ninja secondary, or I don't want to say ninja main, but like a damn near ninja main at this point, because I'm kind of doing both. And then, some people, because they're weird, they were traveling, so I guess it's not weird, but they were throwing away their light and shadow box, the nice display. So I got a spare one of these.
Nice.
Without the cards, obviously, but just the box.
Right. So, well, I mean, hey, you are often a collector of boxes, so.
Yep. And I was pretty happy because he was just like literally walking to the trash can. I said, "Are you actually throwing those away?" And he was like, "Yeah, I just trash to me." I said, "Can I have it?" And he's like, "Yeah, I don't care." I was like, "Cool." So that's how I ended up.
That's probably $100 of the packaging alone is just the box.
I have heard some crazy numbers being. There is actually a very interesting post that I might be able to send it to you. I found it in one of the other Discords, but essentially someone was politely complaining about the want to sell, buy, sell, trade, like the fact that basically every post right now is all like all these, want to sell light and shadow, want to sell the promos, want to sell this, and it's just like, I get it, but it's the hot thing right now. Everybody wants to. Yeah. So I'm not as concerned about it, but there are certain people that seem to be more concerned that like, oh, it's $350, and it's like, it's not really $350. But if you actually think about the hotel, the car, the gas, the fact you got to be there, I mean, there's some extra fees that actually I won't name this individual, but I will say thank you publicly for if you ever do see this. He actually corrected an error where I told him that I would just basically buy them at cost, like 100% at cost, and send it to him. And when we did the calculation with the PayPal fees and everything else, I would have lost hundreds of dollars. And he was like, I don't think you realize how much this is going to be. And I said, really? And so we did everything, and he was right. And he ended up helping me correct that error. And I was very thankful for that. So a lesson learned on myself. I was trying to be like, hey, I just want to make sure you get what you're looking for, man. And then it just, yeah. So lesson to me that, PayPal gets their fees and shipping and USPS is not cheap and blah, 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 blah. So,
yeah. It's definitely expensive. I mean, especially when you're lugging around a whole bunch of stuff for a bunch of other people too. Like, I mean, it is... especially with a lot of the product that you're going to get at convention exclusive.
I physically went to my car twice, and then I drove home in the middle of the day because the one vehicle I had didn't have a trunk, and I just did not feel comfortable leaving that amount of product in the car. So I drove home, dropped it all off, and came back. But yes, I was to a point where I think even one of the days I took Logan home, Logan to his Airbnb, because he was trying to find a ride, and I was like, dude, it's just like it's 20 minutes the other direction. Like, it's Indianapolis, it's a circle. I go there, I'm gonna come right up, and I'll be back where I need to be. But on the way out, I had an entire huge like box, even like bigger than this. But this is like they were getting rid of this. This is just a empty what the Guardian Pack Mastery comes in. It's real cute, right? It's just tiny. But the Light and Shadow boxes, when you get those, it's like it's a box that's huge, and obviously the box for the Smash Palace is even larger. But you see people walking around with 10 stacks of those or whatever. It's kind of crazy. Anyways,
right.
Other FAB stuff, they had fancy boxes. I didn't buy any of the boxes, even though they looked really beautiful. They were like $100 for like the really big box. They were like $30 or $40 for the smaller ones. They had an LSS binder. Again, it was $70. I really wanted it, but I told myself no, because as pretty as that looked, it was a $70 binder, and I'm like, I have nothing to prove that says I need that binder. Now the hat, I bought the hat last year. I bought the mug last year that I'm aware of. They did not have the hats. I think they had the mugs this year, though. So there's some things that come and go. There was one item I did get. It sold out on day one. It's called the Tricorn. I don't know if you've seen that.
Oh, you got the Tricorn hat?
I got a single.
So you were able to get it if you purchase like $350 worth of product, right?
Yeah, this was on day one. I was in line and I got this, and then like apparently shortly after that it sold out. So if I would have been able to do it like on day 2 or 3, I'd have been able to probably get more than one, and then I could have probably given it to one of you guys or something to be able to do it. But yeah, they physically ran out of them, and it's like, holy crap.
Wow.
So it's kind of a funny topic on that. And then I got these. I bought these. These are the keychains. There's the
keychains.
the
This is so cool.
the Bravo, and the Viscerai. Nebula Blade, I guess. So, Anthos Romping Club. These were interesting.
Cool.
They are unwieldy heavy, so like there's...
They look like they're heavy. I mean, they look like they're very made of steel keychains.
Stout. That kind of covers everything I had for FAB. The Smash Palace launch thing was honestly fantastic. I can't say enough about how fun it was with that event deck. There's a certain card in that event deck that we actually played wrong the first 2 times and got corrected. It's this Lion's Pounce. It says this attacks each hero, which includes the person who flips it. And there was a time where when we flipped this, the person that was at 1, and they basically didn't have enough, or they were like having to block something, and it screwed them up. So that deck really makes the game, it puts the fun in FAB. It really does make the game silly.
I'm telling you, there is literally just an event deck or some form of randomization is all UPF needed to be like actually just like to completely cut out the concept of like the competitive aspect of Flesh and Blood, because like you set 4 people against each other in like it's the ultimate pit fight. You know that there was a whole draft format for heavy hitters that utilized the same thing, and it's about like being the strongest and like figuring out how to best outperform your opponents in how you're going to be able to get that damage through. Whereas here it's like, oh, you could flip over this card and like the game could kill you, not like your opponents, but the game could kill you, and that's important because that adds a level of randomness that. You don't have to sit across from your opponent and be like, well, if you didn't play the most busted Guardian deck I've ever seen in my entire life and get lucky and pull 2 Majestics in every single pack, like you don't have to worry about people getting like salty over it. Like if the game flips over a card, it flips it over. Like
I did one additional thing that I guess I'll talk about because I needed one, and there was only one. There might have been 2 vendors. I'm gonna say one. But Star City was like the only one really selling cards at Gen Con that I could feasibly find. And in the spirit of going for the UPF theme, I needed a specific card. And I said to myself,
you bought a Yorick?
Huh?
You bought a Yorick?
Well, not quite, but this was one of those cards that I said, I really needed because I didn't own one, and I had opened so much of this product that I had not managed to physically get it, and I ended up doing something kind of ridiculous because not only was the Smash Palace launched there, but did you know that there were certain people from Legend Story Studios that showed up to Gen Con? Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I know Brian Gottlieb was there, I think, and
Yep.
I mean, obviously Alex LSS was there. I don't know who else was there though. James White was not there though. Is that correct?
No, he was not. But,
Right. He was at SDCC, but he was not at Gen Con, right?
Yeah,
So.
he had a pretty packed schedule from what I heard. So, with that, basically, I said I'm going to buy one card, and I bought. I guess I bought two cards technically. I bought the boots, but this was my UPF purchase, and I had Brian sign the.
Yo, that's sick. That's sick. That's the other thing too. Now people are going to be like, Brian Gottlieb signed cards. That's going to be like a staple in people's decks.
Well, it's one of those things where I've wanted this card for so long, and I swear to you, I probably bought 10 cases, and I
believe you.
I probably didn't. I didn't hit it, and it's like I pulled the trigger and said, finally, I'm gonna do it, and then I was sitting there, and I'm like talking to the locals, and I'm like, I really want Brian to sign a card because I got him to sign a bauble, and that's good because I wanted one for the bauble collection. But then I said to myself, I was like, I just bought this Deathmatch Arena, and this is the launch of, Smash Palace. I'm like, how freaking cool would it be to have him sign this card so that every time I play it, I could be like, he's within spirit or something. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like he really enjoyed the launch of this. Actually, when the Smash Palace launch came out, there's a photo they put out. If you look for that photo, it's he like the first pot of 4 is like one guy, Brian, then there's another guy, and then me. So I was like one pot away from where they were, and it's just funny. I mean, just listen to everybody laugh. It was very different.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it's about.
There was just so many interesting,
like, casually fun.
Yeah, there was just so many interesting combat tricks and things that were happening. Even if you were getting your face pounded, it was still fun.
Right. Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, like, for what it's worth, having a set release for Guardian Assistance and then also having, a game board style, a board game style game release along the side of it, I think really that does allow for an entirely new breed of player to come into Flesh and Blood without the need to worry about things. We had a whole discussion on our Colorado Discord recently about how, is it better, like, does it make more sense that if you took a new player with no TCG experience whatsoever, would it make more sense to give them a $10 Blitz deck and put them against another $10 Blitz deck of any kind? Or would it, and that be like, okay, go to your local store, buy 2 Blitz decks, and then put them against each other? Or should you just buy 3 packs of Crack, Shuffle, and Play, or of Master Pack Guardian, play those into each other, and then learn the game through there? And I very much so know that, and my locals know me very well, because they knew that they were just like, Alex, this is a product that you would like because you like the concept of Crack, Shuffle, Play. Like, I think that genuinely it's great.
The only rub with this, right? This is a majority commons, very little rares or higher. So, like, in this, right, because you get 1 rare or higher or 2 rares or higher per pack, you could technically end up with anywhere from like 12 to 24 rares or majestics. If you are using it for the intended purpose, this is a fantastic product. If you are not using it for the intended purpose, it is not that great of an EV product, which I don't think it was ever designed to be an EV product. I think
notably, we don't entirely know that until maybe a month after the set is fully released, because in most cases, a card can initially come out. Like, I'm not going to lie. I mean, there's several cards in the set that I was just like, wow, this kind of just changed the way Guardian plays in CC. Or this could I mean, there are cards in there that people were like, this is a Vincent card. Like, this card goes in Vincent immediately. There are new Guardian cards all over in the common slot, in the rare slot, that also notably do very well in some of these new decks. And I think that there's a world in which this set is going to affect Guardian positively. And as we know, right, if these cards are able to allow a Guardian to overcome the Gravy Bones matchup in CC, this set then grows in EV because it's got cards in it that are exclusive to the set and are strictly available in only the Mastery Pack Guardian. So,
sure,
you know, the only downside, right, is that it doesn't have a variety of different classes in it. So the regular populace who are playing Flesh and Blood are not just going to go, let me buy 3 packs, or let me buy a pack of Mastery Pack Guardian, right? Because your odds of getting something out of there are still, you can still get a Marvel or something, but like, if you're not a Guardian player, you probably aren't going to play or like the cards. But if you buy 3 packs of Mastery Pack Guardian, and your buddy buys 3 packs of Mastery Pack Guardian, you can play an entirely different game of Flesh and Blood that you didn't even need to bring a deck for. So,
but I will say this, and this is what's interesting. So the Crack Shuffle play, right? Because they're going to be $5 a pack, basically. That's what I believe my LGS is going to go for. You're getting 30 cards for $15, versus you could get a Blitz deck for probably $12 to $15, depending. But theoretically, the last couple of Blitz decks, the only ways you could get them were in the long boxes. So there's this kind of weird, you really can't unless you spend more kind of a thing, or if a store doesn't open it up to get it. So I can't really use that as an argument for or against it, but it is something to, when a new player comes in and says, I want to play this, there's kind of this interesting gotcha of, okay, well, if you're not going to specifically go after the Guardian class, this is a good way to learn the game and the mechanics and have fun, but it's not getting you toward the goal of having a specific deck or an archetype or a character class that you're going to grow to enjoy. Just like as an example, if I really wanted to play Balfair, right, because he is a specific pit fighter, there is no evolutionary item for him to become an adult. I can't play him in CC, things like that.
Right.
Maybe in the future might be a thing, like the common one might be Bravo, right? There is a world where he might get an adult later, and because he specifically says young compared to the others that say pit fight, he's at least legal in those other formats like Project Blue or Commoner or Blitz. So even UPF, technically, again, because that was originally the way it was before the pit fighters. So kind of interesting to see where things go with that. Not terribly concerned, but it is something to call out just as a legitimate curiosity.
Yeah, I mean, my whole thing, at least with it, is not strictly that it's a bad thing to buy Blitz decks, right? But the issue that I always had with Blitz decks is that the Blitz decks are much like how Crack Shuffle and Play is set up to be. The Blitz decks are effectively just a more constructed version of what you'd hope to find when you're playing Sealed. And with that being the case, it's only cards from the set that the hero is from. So if you are playing a Fang starter or a Fang Blitz deck, that Fang Blitz deck only will contain cards from the Hunted. That's it. But if you go, okay, let's say a store hypothetically is,
by the way, this is all Guardian Pack Mastery commons only, just as a heads up. That's how much I've already opened.
I mean, that sounds about right. But I mean, like so the thing here being is that, like, hypothetically, if if 2 Blitz decks are on the shelves and one of them is Verdance and the other one is Katsu, right? Or it's Katsu, right? You take both of those decks, you take them out of the thing, and you go, oh, okay, cool. Let's go ahead and play these, because I figure we'll just play the heroes and see what it's like.
That's all.
And then, Jesus Christ, somebody Valda.
That's all. Search.
You play a whole bunch of stuff, and it ends up being, okay, Verdance does arcane damage, Katsu does not. Katsu did not come with any way to play or prevent arcane damage, and so because of that, Verdance has an edge whenever they're doing any kind of arcane.
Well, and it
that
goes back
is
to
something
why
that,
arcane is in that manual, but they don't have any ways to deal with arcane in this. So it's, again, nice that they're teaching about it, but there's...
But I mean, strictly from a crack, shuffle, and play perspective, not a Smash Palace thing, right? Smash Palace is its own special, specific thing, but like from a Guardian, like from an isolated set, I think that the fact that you and your friend with no knowledge of Flesh and Blood can go and buy 3 packs of this, open them up, put them together. They don't have to worry about deck construction, their cost curve, all this other stuff. They don't have to do that. They just slam everything together and they play the game as is. And that is the bare bones basic understanding of this is a TCG, this is how you play it.
Whereas and that is a great way to get
decks,
somebody in for an affordable price and let them experience the game with no risk of, hey, I spent $100 on this, Magic the Gathering starter deck, and it's absolutely garbage. It's nothing I'm ever going to play. I'm out. I wasted my money, time, effort, energy. In this case, you're out $15, so a cost of a coffee, and I get it. It's maybe a place of privilege to say, but $15 is it is a lot of money, but at the same time, it's not a lot of money if you're sitting there and saying, hey, I'm going to play a card game. That's like
if you're already planning on playing a TCG, you probably have some extra cash left over to do something like this, because obviously it is a luxury hobby to be able to have the opportunity to play something such as this instead of having to worry about, oh, am I going to eat tomorrow? Because if you're in that position, listener, stop playing card games. Get your life together, and then you can play card games. But just stop. Anyway, that's the whole thing. I like Crack Shuffle Play a lot, and I know that like I said, my locals know me well enough to where they know that Crack Shuffle Play is something that I will advocate for, because they don't know many people who are enfranchised in the game, like people who are pro players, people who are always doing some kind of competitive play, people who are armory grinders, event grinders, they're even side event grinders at big events. They're not going to be playing Crack Shuffle and Play all the time forever. And the reason being is because their like reason to play Flesh and Blood is not to try and teach new people how to play, right? If it happens to come in and be that way and they have an opportunity to teach, they do. But they're not going to be buying a product for a class they probably don't play strictly because they're like, oh, you know what? I just want to burn $15 and go against my opponent and see if we can make it work. Like, most people are not going to be buying the product. At the end of the day, most people are not going to be buying this product. But the folks that are can still buy, I can still go to our casual night, buy a box of Guardian Pack Mastery, and for the 4 people that are there, we can just go, okay, cool. I'm opening this box. We've got 4 people for casual night tonight, so everybody gets 3 packs. We're going to do a round robin, and the winner gets, the cold foil out of one of these boxes, out of the box or something. Like, that's the thing you can do. And so it's more of a, you got people together to hang out and enjoy Flesh and Blood for a non-competitive aspect of it. And obviously, if something is on the line, there's going to be a competitive aspect to it, but you don't have to do all that either. So it's all based on what people want. But
to circle back, I think what I'm most excited about is not even the fact that Guardian Pack Mastery or Mastery Pack Guardian is compatible with this, but the fact that this deck is kind of generic enough to work with other things. And I have been hoarding some Bright Lights boxes for a eventuality Crack Shuffle Play. And what's nice is now I could technically offer the option of having Bright Lights in conjunction with this, or mixing it up and saying, okay,
are they pretty generic? Do they have anything that specifically says, like, when a Guardian does X thing, like X?
As an example, this one is, until end of turn, you may attack any opposing hero. When you deal lethal damage, take an extra turn after this one. Hit the jackpot. Create a gold token. Draw cards equal to the number of gold you control. Until end of turn, your attacks get, when this hits a hero, create a gold token, then you wager with them. So there are mechanics that are kind of close, but there's nothing that specifically
if the mechanics
says,
are Guardian, if that's fine. If the mechanics are Guardian-esque, that's fine. It's more specific when you take a look at, like, the cards that say, like, when you attack a Guardian hero,
each
do
hero
X
who
thing,
has
or when you
more
clash.
defense, then you discards a card. Now, those cards that say when you attack a Guardian hero, that would probably be the specific cards within Guardian Pack Mastery, but not the event deck. So,
okay, well that's good. That's good. That means that effectively, that you know what that does is that helps make people make cubes out of this thing. Like you can quite literally just utilize this with, okay, cool. Here are all the good assassin commons and rares and like a couple majestics. Let's slam them together and see if we can do the same thing, but as assassins. And
heck yeah,
you know, everybody choose their favorite version of Arachne to play in Young Hero format and go from there. So that's good.
So I'm going to switch gears to talking about 2 or 3 different smaller games that I kind of was tangentially involved with to, like, you know, look at and kind of mess with it at Gen Con. So let me go to Cam 5. I'm going to go down and put myself into the micro mode. The first of them, we'll just start with this because it's the most interesting. This is called Worn Wanderers. This is a... basically, it's a game where the idea is it's pin-based. So this is a booster box where you would get like a pin. And then there are cards that go on a lanyard. So like in this case here, this is my battle team. And it's something you can play
Isn't
in
this
line.
just like that other thing that you do in Gen Con? What's that other one?
True Dungeon?
Where you have like the tokens? Yeah, True Dungeon. Yeah.
It has some stuff like that, but as an example, there's abilities on the cards. So like I could say, like if there's 2 parties and I had like a leaf go against here, so my 3 doesn't hit the 5, but like let's say the 9 goes against the 5, so I would do 9 damage to this. This would roll this, but then look, the next level is a 12 defense, but then I would do 7 to this, so it would roll over. And look, it's a 13 and 10. So there's like a strategicness to trying to build your team, and there's different color pins, and you can actually upgrade them. So like this is the uber rarest version of this pin because I spent an absorbent amount of time, effort, energy to upgrade this through all the ranking, like tier 1 through 7 or whatever. So this is the same pin as this pin, but it's super foily and extra shiny and whatever. But there's even lower versions of this pin. It's like a tier 2 or tier 3, but I think they start off in this like that color. So it's like that, then it goes to like that plus shiny, then gold plus shiny.
Oh, I see. So it's like a bronze into silver into gold.
So you
like
can collect the different
situation.
pins if you want. But this game is one of those, like, I've seen it at 2 or 3 cons, and I finally said, you know what? I've been around it enough that enough people have it, that if I'm standing at an event now and hanging out with some people and we're standing in the line, that's like literally able to play a game with this, and it's really fun. Now, it kind of like a TCG, the reason I say that is because there's booster packs, and not only do you get a pin, but you get all these cards. So you can you can customize your character based on those pips. So like if I pick again this guy, blues and purples. So I could use up to 2 blues and 2 purples. So if I wanted to have like this blue, that's a level 2 blue. That's a level 3 blue. That's a level 1 blue. So I could start with a level 1 blue, go to a level 2 purple, and go back to a level 3 whatever. But they have different abilities, and that's kind of the deck building component of this. Then
it's kind of cute. I like
that. The part that's interesting is you put loot behind the end of it, as in the very last card's a loot. So when you knock the character out, you get that points, and that's how you determine the winner. I think it's like first to a certain point total based on the play you're doing. So that's just a neat little game. That's kind of fun. We're going to switch over to the more controversial game. Just kidding, not controversial. It's still fun. So Sorcery, Contested Realms.
Sorcery, I see. Yeah.
The reason I say controversial is there was a new set release called Dragon Lord. I was able to get a hold of a copy of this box. There are these cards that come in it, and they're all the same, with the exception of you get one random foil. I got this one as my foil. They're full art backs. But what's interesting about this is that the MSRP that you were paying was like $60, $70 or like $69, something like that. But they sold out, and now they're going for like $300 or $400, which is kind of crazy.
My God.
Yeah, but these are all what they call uniques, so you only need one of any of these to be able to play if you want to use them in your deck. But they're all dragons, and they're all specifically done by this Ed Beer Jr. guy. So the artwork is freaking phenomenal. Like, it looks great.
Yeah, the art looks really pretty.
And I really wanted this one because I play a lot of these gray wolves. These, like, it's kind of like unlimited relentless rats, so it's,
Right. You can have as many as you want.
But this was one of the things. So I saw a lot of Sorcery. I did an interview with a guy who does a YouTube channel on Sorcery. His name is Lord of Itza. That'll be something I'll be coming out with. I talked to him a little bit about the casual side of Sorcery, because it's kind of a game I wanted to touch a little bit more on, so that was kind of fun. So Sorcery is one of the games. The next game was Alpha Clash. I talked a little bit about them earlier. Mm-hmm. They released at Gen Con, they released their PvE kit, which, this is just all parts of different, I got like their mats and some other stuff. But,
right.
There is a whole kit that is this. I haven't even opened mine yet. But basically inside of here you get the boss, the raid deck, and other stuff. So this is kind of like the old World of Warcraft.
Right.
Like, I don't know why I have these so readily available. It's really ridiculous. But it is kind of very similar to that. But that's what the Alpha Clash stuff is going to be. I'm going to be working to learn more Alpha Clash strictly for the PvE side of the format. I'm not going to play it professionally. But I got some guys interested in this, so that's another game. The third game, which is the most ridiculous, complicated one, was this.
Yeah, Riftbound. Oh, shit.
I was able to procure 2 starters.
Nice.
These say sample on them. I haven't opened these yet. The only reason I haven't opened them is people are paying stupid amounts of money for these. And since I'm not really dedicated to this game, I'm just going to leave them and wait till I get the actual official starters, because I don't really know. Like, I want to open these up to play them, but I don't currently have somebody to play them with locally. So until I actually sit down and have somebody to play with them with locally, I just am going to leave them as is. But you get a promo card and you get that when you go through the demo thing. But it is an interesting, it's an interesting look. I've heard somebody say it's like an amalgamation of like 3 or 4 different game mechanics all smashed together into one. So don't know.
Yeah, it's funny because it's like what do you call it? There's just a lot of the concept of the game is almost like, what's that other one? Oh god, it's just got one word as its name.
Altered?
Yeah. Altered. Yeah, the one with the QR codes and the thing, right?
Yeah, the wife is really big into this, so this is what we bought this for her. We're gonna open that. That's I mean, I do like the game. It's an interesting, like Lorcana was also another game that was there, but yeah, that's the one where you kind of like race to get to the other side.
And the whole thing here is like point capturing. Like you're capturing positions on a map, and that's like, obviously it's funny because it's like kind of exactly what League of Legends is, right? But
I don't play the game,
definitely.
So I'm League of Legends dumb. I don't know what it is.
Well, I mean, trust me, I stopped playing because the farther you away from League of Legends, the better, because you don't want to be anywhere near League of Legends. But but it is something that I played for a really, really long time back in high school and like a little bit after high school. So I know a lot about the game itself. But I know that the TCG, I mean, it looks like it's fun. But frankly, I don't know how. I definitely think it's one of those, like, it's an IP thing and not a actual good card game thing. So We'll see how that works out. But
well, I want to show you one last thing, and this is just to get the brain juices flowing, because I want to work on a version of this for Flesh and Blood, specifically in UPF. Okay. This is for Magic, so maybe up your alley. But I saw this, and I said, wow, this is kind of interesting. Apparently, and it won't let me drag it over to the screen. There we go. This was...
Ooh.
Whoa, I don't know what's happening here. Can I make it full screen? That's the best I can do. That is wild. Okay. Well, maybe not. We'll just keep it in the middle. I'm going to...
The fan zone?
So there was somebody that came out with this, and basically ignoring the whole pod fires at a certain day, you essentially start off with a certain amount of points, and then some of the points are tied to your life total. Other points are tied to positive game events. Some of them are tied to negative game events. So like, as an example, First Blood. Be the first player to deal combat damage, you get 5 points. They call it the Dudabites. So the first player to cast your commander gets plus 5 points. So I don't know, maybe like the first person to... Arsenal a card gets 5 points. Call for Gondor. Be the first to destroy or exile an opponent's permanent. So maybe like be the first person to create a token on the field, and you get 5 points. But then there's the crazy stuff down here, which is the stuff that like is the we don't want these in the game. So like or people do these, but we don't like this behavior. So like the not so fast win before turn 6, lose 50 points. So like slow the game down or whatever.
Right.
Perform an infinite combo in the first 60 minutes of the game, lose 30 points. Counter more than 3 spells. So I obviously these are very specific to Magic, but I in my head said, okay, this would be interesting to come up with something that might work in that vein for Flesh and Blood, because I feel like combining that with the event deck would just be like stupidly fun to have like a goal-based point system, so that even if you really totally lost, you could still like do something completely ridiculous. I mean, this is pretty much already like Arch Enemy in some way, or Plane Chase, because you're flipping over a new plane or a new event every single time. This would just add additional levels of complexity. Some of it may be too hard to track, but it's just a thought. So do you think something like that is even anything in FAB people would be interested? Because it's already hard enough for me to get locals to even just play UPF. But when you add weird stuff like this, I don't know if that's going to make it too convoluted versus...
I think it is definitely going to be too convoluted.
Okay.
And the reason I say that, and obviously do not let my words deter you from wanting to achieve this, because there's a world in which something like this could work. The reason I don't like it, right, is strictly because it's about molding a environment that specifically the person making these rules wants, which is fine, but it ruins creativity in a lot of ways when you limit people from doing things like this.
Yeah.
And I think obviously, like, yeah, it's cool when you're playing a thing. It's like, yeah, okay, you can't play, the first person to play a CNC loses 10 points, because it's like, why the hell would you be playing CNC, you piece of shit? But it's seriously like that kind of thing. I feel like gatekeeps more than it includes. And so when we see something like that, it's like, all right, cool, I get what you're trying to do here, right? But I think notably the reason it, like, I don't even know how successful it was in Magic, but like, I think telling people that they can't do something is not the correct way to go about, like, having a fun way to play the game.
Sure.
Telling people that, oh, like, as long as you're not like casting cards for free when they have like a 4-cost power on them, and it's like, or if it costs 4 for you to play and you're playing it for free, that's like, okay, obviously that's cheating, right? But that's never going to happen, really. Like, people are going to pay for their costs, they're going to play their games, but I think the event deck is all you need to get people to start actually playing UPF. Again, like, I genuinely think that I had always thought that having a stack of like items and tokens and everything like in the middle of a UPF board would be enough for more people to want to play UPF, because it wasn't just a slugfest of you beating up the person in front of you and then the person in front of you beating up the person, either you or the person to your left, and making all these different choices because you're limited on who you can target, except if you're Runeblade. Then it's like, okay, you're cheating now. So it's in these different categories in which, like, if you know enough about UPF, you can cheat the system and win different ways. But with an event deck, you're at least providing a different randomization aspect. A fifth player is what I like to call it, effectively, is a fifth player to guide the direction of the game. It makes sure that if your opponent is trying to play a more fatigue-heavy deck, that one of these cards is going to say, like, cards blocked for 0 for this turn. And then it's like, wait a minute, like, that's crazy. Like, how are we going to get that to work? And so I think event decks are great. I think event decks are what should be the thing that draws people to play something like UPF. I don't know that the fan zone thing is going to be effective or easy to translate into FAB, honestly. So
it's just been a thought. By the way, I should not have looked at pre-release prices for Guardian Pack Mastery, because it boils my blood. Like, it's wild.
You should not.
Captain of the Guard, that card I just pulled, there are 9 listings, and the cheapest one is $58.
Yep.
That is unbelievably high.
Have any sold yet?
Let's see here. That's a good question. There is not enough data, so it's not telling me if any sold.
Gotcha.
Does not look like it has enough to be able to provide that. But
yeah,
other weird ones. I didn't know this, but apparently there's extended arts in this set. So
yep,
the Test of Iron Grip is an extended art. Solid Ground's extended, it looks like. The Annexation of All Things Known has an extended. Put Them in Her Place is extended.
Yep.
Seismic has an extended. There's a lot of extendeds. I did not know that. Legendary-wise, I do want to say something crazy about this ley lines of the old ones. This is... I know that in the old days with Monarch, there was Doomsday where you could shuffle it in your deck. But this is one of the rare occurrences a legendary is getting shuffled in your deck. So this is kind of interesting to see that they have a rainbow foil legendary that you are shuffling in your deck. Now, it does say legendary on it, even though it is legendary, so you only need one, very similar to like the Doomsday. So that's kind of crazy.
Right. Yeah, I think that there is
the near mint
plenty of opportunity for some pretty good stuff. So
the near mint cold foil of Base of the Mountains, people are saying is worth $275. I don't believe that, but that's wild.
$275. It sounds about right to me. I mean, I think, what is it? Probably the better Guardian equipment, or the better generic legs equipment, because it's generic. Like, pretty good, right? Isn't it just like it blocks for the amount that it is also blocking with? Is that correct, or am I thinking of something else?
There was a video somebody did where they got the block up to 500 using this card, but it's when this defends, banish any number of action cards from your hand, then add them to the chain link defending this card. This card's defense is equal to the number of actions defending this active chain link.
Gotcha.
So realistically,
it's one leg piece that effectively says, okay, cool, dominate doesn't exist. I'm blocking as many as I need here to get it through, because you're not only going to get the plus, you're going to get the value from the actual cards that you're blocking with, but you're also able to increase the defense value of this card to have like Blade Break 3 on it, which is kind of crazy. So that way, if something's coming in for 12, notably, I think the best part about it is that again, it's a generic leg piece, and it's also you're able to like comfortably block things like Bonds of Agony from Assassins. You're able to comfortably block some other things, because effectively it's just going to be if you banish 3 cards, right, you're giving up 3 cards, but you would have given up those 3 cards to block anyway, and now you're getting a Blade Break 3 on the boots for it, so you're blocking 12 on a Bonds of Agony, which is normally correct in what you need to do anyway. So I think there's a world in which it is going to be actually good. Is it like a staple? No, because obviously it's a card that cares about having multiple cards on the chain link defending, and so like if it comes in and just does Blade Break 1, it's not going to be good. You might as well just run like Iron Rot legs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a world in which it's obviously pretty good into like a crack shuffle play aspect, because all these Guardians are going to be coming in with really big power attacks and all that other stuff. But I don't foresee it being anything that isn't a just immediate, like we saw this with Quick Dodge Flexors too, where Quick Dodge Flexors was just like that's a card that might see play and do really well, and like it is going for a decent price, but it's not a staple in every single deck.
I'd be remiss to not call out the other gentleman I spent some quality time with. Dave, he runs Grimpath. It's a kind of a grid-based card. It's a card game, but it's also miniature-based. He's working really hard to get this to come to market, and I got to talk with him last year, and I got to actually do how to play video this year. I made sure that we got everything squared away, so that's something else I did.
Nice.
But it is another one of those very interesting, like casual but super fun, but you could make it as complicated as you want. But I'm excited to see where that game goes. I was just trying to think of other games that were there, and I mean there was Rush of Icor, which was a new game. I didn't get to actually play that. I missed my demo. I still have my ticket, but it's not like I only paid $2, so it's not like I lost too much there.
Right.
But that was one of those ones I accidentally did not get to go to because I was like, I got to eat or we got to go do something, and it's just like,
right.
Yeah, I booked stuff way too close together. I guess just a final wrap up is the unofficial meetup that I did. I'm gonna have to probably change the name for next year because that caused some confusion with Gen Con about trying to put me in a location that was for like standing room only for meetups versus like a sit down and play games. So I got that fixed last minute. Yep, that'll be happening hopefully next year again. So that will be awesome. The people that showed up seemed like they had a blast. There was a lot of good conversations. Got a couple Magic players, gave away like 2 or 3 boxes of bulk. So like
nice.
I was looking out for bulk at the event when people were just wanting to get rid of stuff, and then I would just take it and then I put it to the side, and then at night when I went there I just picked all the bulk, set it out, and then I basically was like, oh, you're a new Magic player, you want? Here you go, and just gave it over. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, good. It sounds like that was a good time.
So
good. I definitely, one of these days I do plan on actually going. And now that Worlds isn't going to be in the U.S. next year, and I now have unlimited PTO at my job, we'll have an opportunity for certainly Gen Con.
That sounds like a hell of an upgrade.
So I'll yeah, it's pretty great. So I'm gonna be doing my best to try and make sure that happens. And yeah, so Gen Con 2026. If I don't go, kill me. That's the status.
I'll drag
I shouldn't
you.
have anything else occurring. Yeah.
All right.
But that'll be fun.
Well, I'm gonna say let's wrap this episode because I appreciate everything, and yeah, that's kind of me blabbing about everything. But I'd say that's Gen Con.
Yeah.
Food trucks.
Gen Con it is.
And everything else. Oh, there is one last ridiculous thing. There was a guy taking some photos with a Polaroid camera, and this was probably the coolest thing ever. It is I don't know if, it's going to be really hard to kind of see, but in the background there it says Hall B with the Smash Palace logo on it. But this is a Polaroid somebody took on a retro graphics camera or something. I think it was like he 3D printed it back to get like a Polaroid back to go on. It was freaking awesome. I talked to the guy for like 20 minutes, way longer than I probably should have because I was busy trying to run somewhere. But it's a Polaroid. It was so unique because he was going to throw it away or he was like setting it down, and I'm like, that has flesh and blood in it. And I talk about that game a lot, and he was like, you want it? I was like, dude, absolutely. So like that was pretty slick.
Fun.
But yeah, that's the crowds and the everything. It was such a neat. I don't know. It was just a unique piece of photography. So I appreciated his efforts.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, like, comment, share, subscribe. Until next time, Alex, you'll find him on his Ash and Wing TCG YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Do the Reading Rainbow and get your A to Z Cheerios in.
Yeah. Enjoy your stuff. Play Flesh and Blood.
If you start with Briar, are you going to talk about Cheerios, Briar?
I might.
That's kind of, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a fun way to go ABCs with your Briar. Let's play Briar into Cheerios.
Always Briar Cheerios.
Doodaloo.
Bye, everybody.